you need to control the conversation. And then why is this non-negotiable for you? I tell my clients,
Hey folks, you're most welcome to the show. And once again, we have an amazing guest who's going to share with you that how you can become a must hire for your clients, and also how to get the clients, how to create the offer, how to do the fulfillments that we call doing the exact work that you have brought the client in your agency or in your coaching program for, right? So dear guest, you're most welcome on the show.
thank you very much for having me.
Right. Awesome. So, Christine, I really would like to share with the audience that the guest is over here. She has helped her clients entirely to do over $1 billion in sales. Right. So that is something what is crazy. So, Christine, the audience is super excited to know a little of your intro.
It's interesting. I didn't set out to mentor people, which is what I do today. What I set out to be was a great entrepreneur. I have helped a lot of clients, over 400 of them, and as you mentioned, create $1 billion of revenue. And I know what to focus on to create a business, and that's what I started doing, except for my peers, people like you, people in the audience kept saying, what's the secret? And I'm like, there isn't one, but you need to understand the world of business. And that's what I know is the world of business, how to be successful at it. And if you miss foundations, that's why you're struggling. And hopefully today we're going to help guide you to create more success in your own business.
Right. So let's get started with the real questions, right? So first of all, I really would like to ask a question over here. As you mentioned that you are somebody who always say that how to become a must hire for your clients. So what does that must hire means?
First off, it's a couple of things. First, you need to recognize that the client is only a client when they say, yes, I want to invest with you. So one of the biggest disconnects that I see happening is people are trying to offer their services to everybody, and they don't know why you specifically are the right person to guide them. You are clear that you are able to offer the right solutions to get the results that they're seeking for, and you're often the best kept secret around. In order to be the must hire, people must say, you're credible, you're capable, I like you, I trust you. And they lead into you and say, tell me what it's like to work with you. When they're asking that question consistently, you know you're the right hire and you know you're getting close to making an offer. Anytime before that, you might be purely entertaining them. And you're a likable expert. And guess what? You can't build a business as the likable expert. You need to be viewed as the must hire.
Right, right. That is just changing the shift mindset. It's like how one can become a must hire, right? So we shall start with the question as you mentioned. Your client is not your client until he or she pays you, right? So a lot of people struggle with getting the clients. So what is your point on this? How to get the clients?
I think first off, it's by recognizing that your role as a business is not to be chasing the lead, chasing the client, or trying to convince anybody that you are the right person. And that's where the market has it wrong. And I will tell you, this is why I get invited into consultants, why I get it into people that come into my ecosystem. Instead of chasing, I want you to attract. I want you to get clear. Your business will be built on strangers, and only the right strangers who recognize your value, want the result that your courses or programs or services offer, will even be in the right room with you. Instead of saying, I don't know, I said, you need to create the demand. Business 101 is that you should go to where the market is already spending. Don't believe for a second there is not money moving hands right now and somebody's looking to pay for the services you offer. But your goal is to go out into the marketplace and turn the demand that's there towards you and spark their curiosity. So they say, what's going on over here? Tell me more. And eventually, through your whole strategy to becoming the must hire, you're moving somebody from the back of the audience towards you with events, experiences, networking, conversations, and showing up. And they say, I'm in the right space. And if I'm not in the right space, I clearly leave the room, because you do not want to be trying to convince anybody. But if they recognize your value, you're in a very different place. And I remind myself, I have a Post-it note, it's on my desk, and I remind myself every day, I don't hunt or look for clients. You're thinking, well, how do I be successful as a business owner? I look for problems to solve, people to support, and ways I can contribute. And when I can connect those dots, I create movement. And the movement towards me are those that say, I see you as the must hire. I want the result, and I know that you confidently can help me get it. What does it cost to work with you? What's the investment level? And before I offer, I say, tell me where you see my value. Might not be how you expect your audience to perceive it. Ask first, don't assume. You'll have more success in closing that opportunity and starting a new beginning with a new client.
Right, right. So you mentioned over here that attract your prospects, not to chase them, right? So here's being very specific, like why do people still get into that zone of chasing them because they think that it has to be chased?
I think it's because nobody's talking about creating demand. I mean, if you just go around, I have so many people say, I'll find you leads. Leads are the answer. Leads is the conversation. And there's a lot of people who pay their way to creating an audience. It is really, really, really expensive. And it's getting more and more and more expensive. And instead, I like low tech, high touch, very little cost strategies, particularly speaking, networking, and events. Why? Because they're all experiential. Experiences where people can get to know, am I capable? Am I trustworthy? Do they like my sense of humor? And do they think I'm capable in helping guide them to their solution? I think those strategies are the key, because if you want to meet a lot of people, and you do need to be meeting a lot of people, because you're building a pipeline, you're building people whose awareness when they got out of bed this morning wasn't, I'm going to hire you. So be in that activity. And I think one of the biggest mistakes people make, whether you're a solopreneur or a multi-million-dollar agency, is you stop focusing on creating the demand and you rely on referrals or you rely on past successes. And what happens is very quickly you find yourself out of step. You're doing all the right things, you think, but it's not working anymore. And if you keep doing more of it and not meeting new people, you will find your pipeline of new business drying up. Nobody's talking about audience building because they think the easier answer is to buy it. You can buy anything, but it doesn't mean that they're the right people, because the people who are connecting the dots are about volume and not quality. Your goal in audience building is quality. I'd rather have 10 people come forward who want what I have than for me to chase 1,000 who don't really know why I'm even talking to them. It's just more efficient. And honestly, it's way more fun if I have high touch, high impact conversations with the people who are looking today and, most importantly, ready to invest today. Too often
Right.
that lead isn't ready to invest today. You don't have a plan to fill the today need and your capacity that you want to serve.
Right, right. So you mentioned one thing over here, the people have no understanding about building the community, right?
Mm-hmm.
Let's say if we talk about, let's say the business coaches are there, they can build the community, right? But what about the freelancers who are out there who do not have the understanding about building the community, how they can build the community of their dream clients?
I think it's by recognizing that in the audience, there are 3 lanes of traffic. The slow lane is someone who says, I see there's an awareness to, I might need that service someday. What's the challenge for freelancers is you're often in that space. So are businesses, but you're really in the educating space in that slow lane, but they're not looking today. They don't see it as a priority. And if you spend all your time messaging, marketing, and talking to the people, you'll likely go broke. You'll run out of runway. And guess what also happens? They think you're likable, but they don't want to hire you because they don't see that you're talking to them. Stop wasting your time there, freelancers. You'll go broke. The middle lane is the person who says, I know I have a problem. And because we're human, the problem repeats itself over and over and over again. It's a pattern. If you can understand what the intersection point is where I am in the problem and I'm white knuckling saying, I can solve this on my own, I can solve this on my own, you can communicate and meet people in that moment. You simply have to ask a really basic question. Would you like some help? Or did you know that staying in that problem isn't required? Are you curious to know more? It's like curiosity piece. That's where your clients are, especially freelancers, because it's project-based. They're ready to listen to you, and they will move quickly if you can connect to them in that moment. That's where the middle lane is. That's honestly where most of your business will happen. There is a fast lane. They're the unicorn client, and they do happen. But they're someone who says, I know I have a problem. I put aside a budget. I have a short list of people I'm looking at, and I will make a decision in the next 60 days. If you intersect with that space and you say, I have capacity, do you want to work together? You make the decision easy, and they say yes quite quickly. So as a business, you might move slow, middle, and fast lane. As a freelancer, I'm going to say pass the slow lane. Go straight to where is people who need you today and make the offer. You know that pattern that you're repeating? I can help you solve it. And solve it not just once, but I can also solve it for you 3 months from now and 6 months from now. Every time that pattern cycles, make sure you're saying to somebody, I could be your long-term partner for this. That will also mean that you have recurring revenue. And who doesn't want that as an agency?
Right, right. So just coming to the point to that question. Now, once people are getting that prospect, how they can create an offer for them?
The first thing you need to understand is that the offer isn't about you justifying your price and justifying how you're going to deliver it. It is honestly the most irrelevant part of the conversation, and business owners trip over this. You need to really focus on understanding the opposite lens. What is the result they're looking for? It's a small win. Often we want to talk about transformation as the business owner or as the freelancer, but your client, it's not that they don't want it. They just don't need it today. They need a small start. It's like the first domino in a sequence of many, many things you can work together on. But you need to understand what's the result they need. What does it cost them to stay in the struggle? And when you say, is it valuable for you to stop struggling? Would you like some support? You need to make an offer, and it has to be result focused. Nobody will hire you because you're cute, you've got great graphics, or you have a great copy and landing page. They've already made the decision that you're capable to get the result. How do you build confidence that you're the right person? If you do that and you say, I can guide you to get the results, does that interest you? And the answer is yes. You say, here is what the investment is. Don't get into the how unless they ask, because they already trust that you know the how for you to be in this conversation. The more details you talk about the how, the more likely you are to scare them that they're not ready and back out of the sale. So communicate the value, reinforce the value, see that the value is more than the investment price. And if it's not, you have a problem. You haven't created enough value. So ask the question, how can I create more value for you? And if you can do it immediately. If they hesitate, ask the question, what's missing? If you can add it today, add it. If you can add it 6 months from now, start building the plan, because the more you can show value higher than the investment, the more easy people say, let's do it now. And lead the conversation. This is my final tip about making the offer. You must lead it and be prepared to have silence. Let them process it. But be clear, staying in the dark with the problem costs you more than this investment. I know you're scared. You need to borrow your trust and confidence and ask you to help them build their own. And you need to remember that when you're making offers.
Right, right. So that's something what is incredible. Moving to the next question over here is, now when it comes to the delivery part, the fulfillment part, people fail over there, right? So how to sustain that delivery part and fulfillment part, how to become successful at that?
The first thing is you need to know what your capacity is, and be sure that if you know somebody sees your value, you are confident that you can get the result and lead them to it. You have to say, do I have capacity to do it now? Don't overcommit yourself. You are well within the right to lead the conversation saying, you see my value, I don't have capacity now, but I will take you in May. Start a wait list for your client work, but know what your capacity is. You can have to get clear on the nuts and bolts, the money, the hours that you want to work, and figure out how much can I deliver at the highest level to build my reputation around and not exceed it without resources to support the growth. Because the moment you fail to deliver, the expectation, the ripples are really, really big. And I want you to think about, how will I onboard you? How will I ensure I deliver quality work? And how do I check along the way and reinforce the purchase decision to say, are you getting value? What are you finding the most valuable about what we're doing right now? Is there anything else we can do to enhance that experience? And that might mean you bring more money onto the conversation, you add to the contract, but you need to stay in sync and have a plan as a business owner to be asking, where do I lead them to next? Make sure you're constantly thinking that this is a long-term partnership.
Right.
You must commit to delivering on a highest level. And if you're not sure you can deliver, please stand in integrity and not make the offer. You're
Right.
the gatekeeper of your business.
Perfect, perfect. So that is something what is super interesting, right? So let's say, as you mentioned over there in our previous call as well, that people commit mistakes in their entrepreneurship and their business journey. So what are the three mistakes you think people commit?
Well, number one is they don't stay consistent with their audience building. They go for a month and they think, I need new clients, so I'm really active networking, social media, and I'm out doing all the right things. And then I get really busy with client delivery and I forget to stay focused on the audience building. And what happens is you get this massive revenue cycle that's scarier than you know what, because your bills don't happen that way. So number one, they don't stay in audience building. I tell my clients 50 to 70% of however many hours you work have to be on this, non-negotiable. Second big mistake is you come at your clients from a place of enlightenment. You're using words they don't understand. You're talking and describing the problem, and your client doesn't connect to that. They don't see themselves in your story, first off, or if they do, they feel a bit judged by you, and they're not brave enough to put up their hand and say, I might need your help. If they don't do that, they walk right by you. But they're going back to Google, Pinterest, or YouTube saying, I need a solution, and they'll choose someone else. So you need to remember, mistake number two is that you need to meet your client where they are, which is in the dark. Their language is different. Their speed, their emotions are different. If you can't master your messaging there, you will always struggle to make sure the audience is in the right room with you and they're moving towards you. The third mistake is that you need to remember your number one thing is to communicate expectations to your client. What's the beginning going to look like? What's the delivery phase going to look like? What happens next? If you proactively lead communication, people always feel they're in a safe space with you. And that's what they're looking for when they make their first investment decision with you. I feel safe in your space. I trust you to take care of me. I trust you to help me get the result. And you need to remember the best way to manage trust is to talk to people. Don't hide from buyers. And often if you need to flex on your delivery, you're better to be proactive about it, because often your deadline might not match theirs. But hiding from it, mistake, always. And those would be my three mistakes that I see time and time again. And all of them are correctable. All of them are solvable with intentional support.
Right, right. So that is something one has to take care of in their entrepreneurship journey and their business journey, their coaching journey, or their agency journey, right? So that is something super amazing. Let's move forward to the, I won't say the last question over here, but after that we'll have one more question to ask. It's like, what do you think, like in your entire journey of your business mentoring, you would like to share your any of your experiences that you think that you should share with the audience?
I think it's to remember that, social media is optional, but visibility is not. You need to control the conversation. And what my biggest mistake in my own business journey is that I relied too much on social media and I didn't build my email list. I didn't build my contact list. I didn't build the address list. And that is honestly the people who've said, I like what you have to say. I'm interested in knowing more. And they're honestly the people that will buy from you at some point in time. So just remember, you rent space on social media. It's optional to play there, but you must be visible and build your visibility strategy such that you have a way to talk to somebody. I see it time and time again. Businesses implode and I get those phone calls. I just got kicked off a platform. TikTok is going to be a way potentially eliminated from the US market. What happens to all those people that you are building a relationship with? You're not in a relationship if you have no way to have a conversation with them. So to me, my best bit of advice was my own mistake. Build your email list, build the contact list, control the conversation. Focus on that from day one. I didn't do it till 2 or 3 years into my business journey, and it has hurt the pace at which I grew. So learn from my mistake, please.
Right, right. Okay, perfect. So moving to the last but not the least, what do you think? What is the best question one could ever have asked you in the entire entrepreneurship and business journey?
I think it's always understanding, why is this non-negotiable for you? I tell my clients, your business is your vision, nobody else's. Don't get caught in the labels, but you must understand that nobody's coming to save you in your business. You have to know why this is non-negotiable. And for you, it has to feel like oxygen. Why are you showing up? And when people come to work with me, the first thing we do is tell me what your vision is. And we spend a lot of time here because every decision you make has to support it. If it's not non-negotiable for you, you've left the back door open, which means you don't follow up, you don't make the offers, you don't get visible, you don't build your audience. And you say, you know what, finding clients is hard because the economy's bad. Yes, it's not. There's so much money moving hands right now more than ever because their runway to solution is shorter. They're looking. The question is, they're not going to find you unless you decide your business is non-negotiable. The action you take is essential. I built my first business 1 hour a day, and it was consistently growing because I built audiences. I worked on my messaging and I made offers. It is elegantly simple, but you're the engine. Don't lose sight of that. What is your non-negotiable? And follow through on your promise to yourself.
Right, right. So thank you so much for sharing these golden nuggets with the audience, right?
My pleasure.
So this was super amazing understanding your non-negotiables, right? So thank you so much, dear guest, for sharing the golden nuggets with the audience, and thank you so much to the audience as well who has been over here watching us. You come over and again watch us, and you are educating yourself regarding the entrepreneurship and business in order to grow your journey. So, Kristen, what is the best way to connect with you?
This is a good tip too. Come and join my ecosystem. You can find it under my name, which is ChristineCampbellRapin.com. You'll learn about my programs. You'll be able to connect to me on social media. You'll also be able to see where you can come play with me at various events. Own the destination. You can find mine under my name. Hope to see you there.
Right, perfect. So what I'll do is over here, people, you can find her social media link in the description. I'll mention her Instagram link so that you can jump on connecting with her and you can talk to her further. She would reply you over there. And if you wish to learn from her, I strongly believe she is going to share the golden nuggets when you are personally connecting with her as well, right? So thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in. Keep signing.